गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारि यमुना तीरा वनचारि जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारि यमुना तीरा वनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव राधे जय राधा गिरिधारी राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय साई गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय देव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव Hare Krishna. So I think my screen just stopped sharing. Please bear with me. Just let me know when you can see my screen again.
Yes, Prabhu, we can see your screen now.
Thank you. So we'll start with Srila Prabhupada Dinamrita. Would anyone like to please read the chapter 24?
Yeah, I can, Prabhu.
Please, Mataji.
Reading from Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita, chapter 24. One day on Ekadasi, Lilavati arrived late at Swamiji's apartment, thinking there would not be much cooking on a fast day. But when she entered the kitchen, she found Swamiji himself busily cooking. He was heating something white in a skillet, vigorously stirring and scraping it from the bottom of the pan. "Oh," he said, "I was just wondering where is that girl." Lilavati was too shy to ask what Swamiji was doing, so she simply busied herself cutting vegetables. Today is a fast day, she said, as if chiding Swamiji for cooking. You have to understand, he replied. In Krishna consciousness, a fast day means a feast day. We are offering this to Krishna. Leelavati continued to keep her distance from Swamiji's whitish, sticky-looking preparation until he completed it and placed it on the window sill to cool. Later it will harden, he said, and we can cut it and serve it. And with that, he turned and walked out of the kitchen. When Leelavati finished cooking and served Swamiji his Ekadasi lunch, he asked her to bring him some of that thing on the window sill. He took a bite, seemed pleased, and asked Leelavati to call Mukunda and Janaki to taste it. Janaki took a bite and exclaimed, "It's wonderful, simply wonderful, incredible, what is this?" Turning to Leelavati, Swamiji asked, "What is in this preparation?" "I don't know, Swamiji," she said. "You don't know?" he replied. "You're standing right by me in the kitchen and you don't remember?" Leelavati's face turned red. Prabhu, you want to move the screen? Yeah. "Oh, Swamiji," Leelavati replied, "I was very busy, I just did not see." "Oh, you're busy without intelligence," he replied, and he laughed for a long time, until Mukunda was also laughing. Leelavati felt even more humiliated. Swamiji asked Janaki if she could tell what was in the preparation. She could not, except that it was sweet. He then sent Leelavati downstairs to get Govinda Dasi and Gaurasundar. When they entered, Swamiji told Leelavati, "Go get some more of that simply wonderful thing." Again, this time in front of 4 devotees, Swamiji asked Leelavati, "So what is in this preparation?" And again she defended herself. She had been too busy to notice. And again he laughed until everyone was laughing with him. He then asked Govinda Dasi to taste the simply wonderful and say what was in it. Immediately she guessed, sugar, butter, and powdered milk. "Oh," Swamiji looked at Leelavati. "She's an artist, she's intelligent." To Leelavati, the whole episode was a devastating ordeal. Only later did she understand that Swamiji had been trying to teach her humility. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much, Mataji. We'll quickly start with the invocation prayers. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiryate nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttame shloke bhaktir bhavata neshtiti. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. So we'll be reading from Canto 4, Shloka number 25, verse number 74. And it's a chapter titled Talks Between Narada Muni and King Prachani. The shloka is Evam Paschavidam Lingam Trivrit Shodasha Vrishitam Esa Chaitanya Yukto Jiva Iti Abhidyate. Evam Paschavidam Lingam Trivrit Shodasha Vishritam Esa Chaitanya Yukto Jiva Iti Abhidyate. Evam Paschavidam Lingam Trivrit Shodasha Vishritam Esa Chaitanya Yukto Jiva Iti Abhidyate. Will anyone like to try the shloka?
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Bhaji, please go ahead.
Evam panchavidam lingam tibrit sudasha vistritam esha chaitanya yukta jiva iti avidyate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I am also trying.
Please, please.
Yes. I'm there. Just iti panchavedam lingam tribrit shorasha vistritam esho chetanaya yukto jivo itto vidhyate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bhaji.
Buddhi Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Bol Mataji, please go ahead.
Evam panchavidham lingam tribrit षोडश vistritam esha chetanaya yukto jiva ityabhidhiyate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. I am also trying.
Please, please, Mataji.
Evam panchavidham lingam trivrit sadosha vistritam eso chetonaya yukto jiva iti abhidhyate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please go ahead.
Evam panchavidham lingam trivrityeshu dashavistiram yesha chetanya yukto jiva ityabhidhiyate. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll go with synonyms word by word, and then we'll go for translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Synonyms: Evam, thus; Panch Vidham, the five sense objects; Lingam, the subtle body; Tri Vritta, influenced by three modes; Shodasha, 16; Vishyatam, expanded; Esha, this; Chaitanya, with the living entities; Yukta, combined; Jiva, the conditioned soul; Iti, thus; Abhidyate, is understood. Translation: the five sense objects, the five sense organs, the five knowledge acquiring senses, and the mind are the 16 material expansions. These, combined with the living entities, are influenced by the three modes of material nature. Thus, the existence of combined soul is understood. Would I like to read the translation? The purports.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15.7, Mama ivangsha jiva loke jiva bhuta sunatana manosashta indriyani prakriti stani kurshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Here it is also explained that the living entity comes in contact with the 16 material elements and is influenced by the three modes of material nature. The living entity and this combination of elements combine to form what is called Jiva Bhuta, the conditioned soul that struggles hard within the material nature. The total material existence is first agitated by the three modes of material nature, and these become the living conditions of the living entity. Thus, the subtle and the gross body develop, and the ingredients are earth, water, fire, air, sky, and so on. According to Sri Madhav Acharya, when consciousness, the living force in the heart, is agitated by the three modes of material nature, then the subtle body of the living entity, consisting of the mind, the sense object, five senses that acquire knowledge, and five senses for acting in the material conditions, becomes possible. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Om Ajnanatirmindasya Jnananjana Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuktapadakamlam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamishcha Shri Rupam Sangrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitanmishcha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenbandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we'll be reading again. The shloka, today's shloka is Evam Pancha Vidham Lingam Trivrit Shodasha Vishritam Esa Chaitanya Yukto Jiva Iti Abhidyate. The five sense object, the five sense organs, the five knowledge acquiring senses, and the mind are the 16 material expansions. These combined with the living entities are influenced by the three modes of material nature. Thus, the existence of conditioned soul is understood. So we have seen in the previous check from previously that how Narada Muni is trying to explain um, to the king, Prachanya Haribhashad, is about the subtle body. So he's getting a bit harder now. I'm trying to explain him, how the soul is entrapped. So Narad Muni is trying to explain the king how the person becomes trapped in this material world, engaging in the 16 senses, right? So there are five sense objects, as the shloka says that there are five sense objects, five sense organs, the five knowledge acquiring senses, and the mind. So in the total, there are 16 material expansions. However, we can see that in total, as per Sankhya philosophy, there are 24 elements, as per explained in the Sankhya philosophy. So there are five subtle elements which represent sound, touch, form, smell, and taste. Then there are five knowledge acquiring senses, which is ears, skin, eyes, nose, and tongue, through which we can acquire the object, sense objects. Then there are five working senses through which we acquire those the objects, which is hand, leg, reproductive organs, evacuating organs, and voice. Then there are five gross body, Panch Mahabhut, which is earth, water, fire, air, ether. And then there is the last subtle body, which is mind, intelligence, false ego. And the last is material nature, which is three modes of material nature. So in total, that represents 24. But however, you can see here that another one is explaining, just focusing on the 16, right? So there are in total 24 elements where soul is entrapped. So if you take an example, that if a driver is driving a car and all of a sudden he met an accident, what is to be protected first, the driver or the car, right? So we are just like this driver, the soul is driving this material body. So anything happens, we need to focus on soul, not the body. And we have to understand, we need to understand this material world, this material modes of nature are always surrounding us. Whether hook or crook, they are always surrounding us. Sometimes people ask question that, we belong to Krishna Loka, like how the Prabhupada explained the shloka, Mamai Vansha Jiva Loke, right? You are my Ansha, Mamai Vansha Jiva Loke, Ansha. So we are part and parcel of Krishna, right? And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you are my eternal fragmental part. So if we are part and parcel of Krishna, why has Krishna thrown us here in this material world? Isn't that a question we need to ask ourselves, that if we are part of Krishna, why we are here in the first place? So someone asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, why we have fallen in the material world? And Srila Prabhupada very nicely explained, you go and find out. So there was very nice humor by Srila Prabhupada. You go and find out. But we need to understand that it is a million dollar question. How we are fallen in this material world. There's a whole episode can go on this one. How we are fallen in this material world. And sometimes Prabhupada wanted to ignore these answers because it's very controversial. It's not that people can understand straightforward. It's very complicated topic. How we are in the material. There are many sub questions based on this question. So, for example, people generally say the soul is Sachidanand, which is eternal, knowledgeable, blissful. So, how come we are into this material world? We are in this material, but why? That's the question. We are unsure of Supreme. We are part and parcel of Krishna. Then why we are here? That's the most important question. So sometimes it becomes essential to understand, why we have fallen into this material world. So once again, Srila Prabhupada was asked the same question that Srila Prabhupada, why it was asked indirectly, that what we have, how we are in this material world, how we have fallen. So Srila Prabhupada very nicely explains and says, once if you are fallen in a ditch, pushed by someone, right? If we are fallen in a ditch, pushed by someone, when you're drowning in that ditch, what would be your first reaction? Your first reaction won't be that mujhe kisne dhakka mara, I want to investigate that. No, the first thing is you to get out of the ditch first, right? Similarly, these jivas, right, in this material world has fallen down. So our question should not be focusing, how am I fallen down? What have I done? What is this? The first thing is we have to get out of this material world. Next thing we will think later on. But first thing is get out of this material. The focus should be getting out, not how we have fallen, who has done this, why has done this. That's not should be subject matter. Subject matter should be how should I get out, right? So Acharya has explained actually that we again it becomes a very controversial topic. So our Acharya has explained that that we were never in the spiritual world ever. So the people ask question about, when we say going back home, back to Godhead, when we say go back, when we say back, that means we were there once, and that's why we have fallen down. Now we don't want to go back. That's why we say back to Godhead, isn't it? Once we have fallen, and that's why we say we want to go home back. Means we were there once, we have come out, and we want to go back. That's what the back means. So we need to understand this, the speaker of basically whoever is the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, who is giving any classes, need to understand the Puranas and the Upanishads are not controversial. They go hand in hand. But we need to have some brain to understand. So we need to have someone who have a deep understanding of the Upanishad and Puranas and to explain us what is this relationship between all these simultaneous thing that happens, all this Upanishad, Puranas, they have got different things, but someone needs to explain us what's happening, right? So we will discuss this one by one. So first thing is we need to understand about what Krishna says in the shloka, part and parcel. It means that we are transcendental living being in this material body. So we are transcendental being. We are not ordinary. The soul is not ordinary. This is transcendental. So we are not the material being with some spiritual experiences. However, we are spiritual being with material experiences, right? So there are three types of souls. We need to understand that first. There are three types of soul. The first is called Mukta, Nitya, Mukta, right? The second is called Nitya Siddha, and the third is called Nitya Baddha, which is bounded. So Nitya means always, which is eternal. Right? Like how we read the shloka earlier, Nitya. Nityam Bhagavata said. Nitya means always. So we are Nitya Baddhas. It means we are always bounded. We are not liberated. We are not sometime. So we are not sometime that we are Siddhas, we are Muktas. We are always Baddhas. So we are eternally bounded. We are Nitya Baddhas. It means from the day one that we expanded from the Krishna's body, we have been eternally bounded. It never means that the Krishna's it never means we were never in Krishna's loka. But again, people says, we have fallen down from Krishna's loka. So how we can understand this relationship that we were with Krishna, we have fallen down, soul is Satchidanand, how all these things happening? So actually, Krishna Loka not only represents Goloka Vrindavan that we see, right? I think there's a graph here, right? So you can see from this chart here, right, that we have got Karnadakshay Vishnu, then we have got Virja River, Karna Ocean here. Wait a second, here you can see we got Virja River, we got Karnadakshay Vishnu, and we've got Mahatattva, and this is material world, right? So you can see actually Krishna Loka doesn't only represent Goloka Vrindavan, which is supreme abode, but Krishna Loka also means the Vaikuntha world. So there are two types of Jagat which we all know, which is Aprakat and Prakat, right? Prakat Jagat is the one which we can see with our eyes. Prakat Jagat is where we can take our telescope and see in the sky, you can see different planets going in the orbits, which we can see from our natural with our eyes. Whereas Aprakat Jagat is which we cannot see. This is where this lokas come. And people see that, Hubble telescope is millions and millions of kilometers away, but still we can't see Golok Vrindavan, still we can't see this loka, that loka. I mean, it's uppercut. You cannot see with your naked eyes. We need to understand. That's why we need to understand the scriptures. And that's why Srila Prabhupada and other acharyas explain this very, very nicely. So you can see between the material world and the spiritual world, there is a thin layer of sky, thin layer. So the material world is expanded in 14 planetary system. Okay. And in between the 14 planetary system of the Earth is the Bhuloka. Earth is in the middle. You can see it here. Here is Bhuloka is right in the middle. Okay. And above the Earth, there are 6 planetary systems, which is above the Earth, there is 6 planetary system, which is Bhuvarlok, Swarglok, Taplok, Janalok, Mahalok, and Swargalok. And which is also known as Satyalok, which is also known as Brahmalok. And below the Earth, there are 7 hellish planets, which is known as Tal, Vital, Sutal, Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, and Patal. Okay, so this is the whole combination of one material manifestation. So in the 14 planetary system, it is always covered by 7 layers such as air, water, fire, air, ether, then mind, intelligent, false ego. You can see this is the Earth, and you got 7 layers: Earth, water, fire, air, ether, false ego, and Mahatattva, right? Which includes Mahatattva personified, worship Vasudev. So this is all 7 layers, which is the material world is made up of. So when we cross these 7 layers, these 8 layers, what happens? We comes in the middle layer of Prakat and Aprakat Jagat, right? And which is called Karna Ocean, which is here. So once the Jiva from here crosses these 7 layers, we come into the ocean of Karna Ocean, which is also known as the Virja River. In this layer, we will see Karnodaksha Vishnu here, right? And Karnodaksha Vishnu is residing on a Sheshanaga. And from his body, millions and millions of universes are coming out, with each breath. So like when in this, the whole manifestation happens and it annihilates back into the Krishna's body in one breath. For us, it's millions and trillions of years, but for Mahavishnu, it's just one breath. So in this breath of Mahavishnu, millions and millions of universes come and again go back into the Krishna's body. So this layer of Karnodaksha Vishnu is also known as Vaikuntha Dwar, right? From Vaikuntha Dwar, because from here everything emanates. This is also known as Vaikuntha Dwar, okay? And in this layer of Mahatattva, in this layer, the Mahavishnu resides, and from his Garbha, Pradhan, jisko bolte hain, is the Mahatattva emanates, which is this one, Mahatattva. If you see on the graph, on the chart, here the Mahatattva comes. And if you see, Krishna is glancing, you can see the rays. As soon as it sees the Mahatattva, the whole manifestation get ignited. And the 3 forms of jivas come out, right? Along with 3 modes of material nature. According to our own desire, we came out from this manifestation. So from the Garbha, Mahavishnu, 3 types of souls comes out, as we explained earlier, which is Nitya Mukta, Nitya Siddha, and Nitya Baddha, according to our own desires, right? And so who are the Nitya Muktas? They are like the one who are always with Krishna. They want to enjoy with Krishna, like Yashoda Maya, Gopis, Gwalbal, Nanda Baba. They're always in the pastime of Krishna. So they are always in Goloka Vrindavan, relishing pastime of Radha and Krishna. And the second type is called Nitya Siddhas. They are also fully surrendered to Krishna, and they're always serving Krishna. Whatever they can, with whatever means they have, they will serve Krishna, right? And the third type are called as Nitya Baddhas, which are us. So from very beginning, we are born and expanded from Krishna's body, And no one knows the time when we were born. And that's why we need to understand, that the soul, which is inside our body, came prior to the time. So Krishna manifested us before time. Krishna says, "Kalos me," So I'm time, but Jivas came. So time came later, but Jivas came first. That's why we call it Adi Jeev. From time immemorial. We were existing. So the question again asks that why we are here. So if you need to understand with an example that you have got a servant at your place, right? And the servant has got his requirement, that I want to be sleeping in a in an air-conditioned room. The owner has to give me the food. I will be watching TV. I will be playing game, and I'll be doing this. What's going to happen? Will you keep that servant? You will definitely not. What is going to happen? You're going to kick out that servant out of the house. I don't want this kind of servant, right? So similarly, what happens is the reason why we are here is, as I said earlier, when we expanded from Krishna's body, we have come, when we came in, we have got own desires. And when we came in contact with material mode of nature, our existence happened. And it explains a very nice shloka in the next shloka. So can someone please read the shloka, please? And the translation?
इच्छादेशसमुत्थेन दण्डमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप. Ocean of Bharata, O conqueror of the four, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arising from desire and hate.
Yes. So Krishna says to Arjuna, the pinpoint. Why are we here? O Param Tapaha, O Arjun, due to the desire, Ichha, and the second is Dvesha, envy. Envy from whom? From the Lord. And what's the envy? That why is only Krishna who is enjoying? Why can't I enjoy? Actually, our job was to serve Krishna and enjoy Krishna. Rather, what we chose, we want to enjoy our senses. Why is Krishna performing Rasa Leela with the gopis? I want to also enjoy with my college girls. I want to do all Rasa Leelas as well, And that's the envy and the desire that arose. And Krishna says, okay, if you want to enjoy, you cannot enjoy in my loka. Sorry, this is my loka. I am the boss. If you want to enjoy, I'll make you another world. Emastu, tathastu, you can go into that world and you can perform Rasa Leela and you can be your own boss. You can be boss of your house, you can be boss of your wife, you can be boss of your factory, you can be boss of your office, you can be boss of anything. But here, I'm the boss. I'm Krishna, I'm the boss. So I'm the boss. And once you get purified, once you know what is your relationship with me, once the masters tell to the servant, once you know that you are a servant, not the master, then I will come. Then I will accept you. Otherwise, till then you can find you can be your own boss in your own servant quarters, not in my house, right? So similarly, we were here in this material world. So when we say go back, means that we are going back not to only Goloka Vrindavan, but we are going back to that Mahavishnu, the Dwara, the gate of Mahavishnu, from where we originated from. Now the question may again arise that the soul is Satchidanand, right? The soul is Satchidanand. How can such a soul which is Satchidanand have that kind of desire that we want to enjoy? How can the soul has a desire to enjoy and have the feeling of Ichha and Dvesha? That's again a big question, isn't it? So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, that there is something called as free will. Now, free will is given to everyone, whether it's any species, we have been given a free will. And we have to utilize our free will very, very carefully. Right? We understand that 99% of the whole thing, when we say, destiny, desires, this and that, you need to understand one thing very carefully. 99% of everything is scripted, right? When you are watching a movie, aage kya hone wala, so everything is scripted. 99% of the whole manifestation is scripted. Only 1% is the free will that we've been given to us. Krishna has given us all the opportunities so that we can go back home, back to Godhead. To go look to that dwar where we came from, to that Mahavishnu, to that Karunadaksha Vishnu, from where we can go home, back to Godhead. But till that, we have to go home at least to Mahavishnu, at least first. So the question arises about the free will. So as I said, as an example, we can understand this 99%, 1% with an example, right? Say, for example, there's a horse in a stable, and this horse is very, very dangerous. He kicks and, he bites and everything. So what happens, his owner of the horse has tied this horse in a stable in the middle, right? There's a farm, and there's a one tree, and he has tied the horse with the tree. Now he's got some circumference where he can move, right? He can jump, he can dance, he can bite or whatever, but that's the only circumference that he has. That is free will. Whether he want to jump, whether he want to eat grass, whether he want to sit, whether he want to stand, that's absolutely up to him. But when the same horse is surrendered to the owner, when the same horse listens to what the owner says, when the owner says sit down, if the horse sit down, when the owner says stand up, the owner stands up, what happens? Owner become happy, right? And what happened eventually? Okay, this horse is behaving nicely, let me loosen the rope. Then he loosed the rope a little bit. The circumference become bigger. Now again, horse has got free will. He can jump, dance, whatever he wants. He can do in that circumference only. Can't do beyond that. But when the owner sees that the horse is behaving so nicely and he's been following all of my instructions, what happens? And one day he opens the knot completely. Now the horse can freely move in the whole stable, right? Similarly, we are the devotees need to understand that we need to surrender to Krishna, right? And when our thought expands, our willpower to choose the right thing also expands, right? And that's the way we need to understand Krishna, him as it is. We can understand by the second example as well, about this 99% of the script and 1%. For example, we are a student and we have to give an exam, right? We are sitting in a question, we are sitting in an exam and we have to answer multiple choice questions, right? So we need to understand there's something which is fixed, which we cannot change, right? For example, there are 50 questions that's going to come in exam, that is fixed. There are 4 options, that is fixed. The date and time of the exam is fixed. The teacher who's going to be conducting the exam is fixed. The school where we're going to give the exam is fixed. The transportation, the bus from which we're going to go in the school to give the exam is fixed. The classroom is fixed. The time when the exam is going to start and finish is fixed. Only option that we have got is the choices that we make in those multiple choice questions. That is our free will. If we choose the right answer, we'll pass. And if we choose the wrong answer, we'll fail, right? Similarly, we need to understand that the right answer is to know that we need to read Bhagavad Gita. The right answer is we need to read Srimad Bhagavatam to know what is right according to the scriptures, according to Krishna. Not as per what that person says, what that person says, what he is saying, what she is saying. We need to understand the right answer. And the answer there will always be 2 options to given to us. Every single decision. This is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. We have to choose the right answer. What is favorable for Krishna? Anukulena Krishnano Shilana Bhakti Uttamam. That is what the answer is. What is Anukul? What is as per scriptures? Only then we can choose the right thing in life. Otherwise, since childhood, we have been making wrong choices. Since we came out from Krishna's body, we've been making the wrong answers. We have chosen the wrong answers. And that's why we are here stuck in this material world with those 16 senses. So these 3 modes of material nature are, from these 3 material mode natures, as I said, 3 jivas came out, which is Nitya Baddhas, Muktas, and Nitya Siddhas. So these 3 type of souls, which are Muktas, which are always with Krishnas, which I explained earlier. They are always Muktas like Gopis, Nand Maharaj, Yashoda Mai, they're always in the pastime of Krishnas. Nitya Baddhas are the one which we are, who are struggling in this material world, right? And the Nitya Baddhas are the one who can be freed only by the mercy of the 3rd souls, which are Nitya Siddhas. They are like His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, you know, he's empowered, who came down to this material world to uplift the Nitya Baddhas and go home again, back to Godhead. We have, so Nitya Siddhas are the one who comes and uplift the Nitya Baddhas. So again, there may be again question, you know, that they are free will in this material world as well as free will in the spiritual world. So what is the guarantee that we will not fall back again from the spiritual world? That's a very valid question. If we have free will as here, which we are choosing multiple choice questions, and we say Krishna, 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 and say, for example, we went to the Goloka Vrindavan, we got free will there as well. So what is the guarantee that we will never choose to enjoy ourselves ever again, right? That's the genuine question. So we need to understand this thing, one thing very, very clearly, that Krishna knows everything and he's the biggest cheater of the cheaters, right? There's during the Purushottam month, we generally sing this prayers, you know, Vrajed Prasiddham Navnita Choram. So Krishna is the biggest thief. He knows when to steal, how to steal. So he's a stealer of the Vrindavan, he's a stealer of butter, he's a stealer of the gopis, he's a stealer of everything. So he's a stealer and he steals everything, right? Whether you like it or not, he can steal everything. So he likes butter, right? And currently our heart is very, very hard because we haven't developed the taste of Krishna. It's very hard. So Krishna doesn't want to taste that very, you know, hard butter. He wants soft butter, you know, soft. So once our heart becomes soft, and once we are fully surrendered to Krishna, he will accept us. And the process by which our heart becomes soft is by chanting the Mahamantra, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That's the only way our heart becomes soft. So there are shlokas and there are multiple shlokas in Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavatam, and from which we can understand how we can soften our heart. You know, some devotee asks, Prabhuji, is it possible that the soul engrossed and entangled in three modes of material nature can be freed ever? You know, we are always entangled with material nature. We have got desire, we have got ichcha, we got dvesh. We are surrounded by material nature, followed by time. Can we ever be free? But yes, Krishna says the answer in Bhagavad Gita. Can someone please read the shloka as well as the translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Please, Mataji.
Okay. Mam cha yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Translation: one who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So the solution is here. Krishna has got no ifs and buts, this. All he's saying, do the devotional service, full devotional service. And what happens? I have broadened that line and underlined. At once transcends to the mode, at once transcendent the mode of material nature. We're not stuck in material nature. We transcendent. We move above the three modes of nature. As soon as we do what? Devotional service. Now again, devotional service is, we all know what devotional service is. We have been doing for last many, many years. It has to be there's a shloka in Chaitanya Charitamrita, love sadhu shang sarv satraka, you know, love matra, that thing. So love matra, what does love matra means? Fraction of a second, but we are getting not love matra, we got love matra here. We got association by many, many devotees, but are we taking the advantage of that? Because we are bounded with this material nature, we are bounded with ichcha and dvesha, we are bounded with this desires. We've got 24 elements of expansions which are in our body. They all need hankering, but if we are giving the soul the right food, which is devotional service, what happens? We transcend from the material modes of nature, right? And that's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you know, that by doing the transcendental service, by doing the devotional service, only then you can be freed from the material nature. There's one more shloka which is pretty much similar to this, which Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in chapters number 7. Can someone like to read the translation as well as the shloka, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Please, Mataji, go ahead.
Daivihi esha gunamoyi mama maya durattaya mameva ye prapadyante mayametam taranti te. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So in these last two shlokas, Krishna has given us just two solutions. That material modes of nature exist. And the very next line, it says, very difficult to overcome. It's not that easy, right? Because Krishna wants pure thing. In his Krishna wants pure thing. If you're going in a market and say, for example, everyone using saffron, right? When they make kheer, everyone is using saffron. But the first thing that we need to find is this saffron real? Or it's a fake? Isn't it? Ask honestly. If you're going to buy a gold necklace, the first thing that we check is the purity. If that gold is at least 9%, 9 karat gold, will you buy that? No, you will buy 24 karat gold. Why? Purity. So when Krishna sees the purity in a devotee, he will accept us. Until unless our options are always, when Krishna sees that our mind has got some options, right? Krishna will say, stay there in material world. Get yourself purified, then I will accept you. Until unless we have got no doubt, unless we know Krishna is the supreme, until unless we know Krishna is a proprietor and we are the servant, he is the owner and I am the servant, he is the God and I am a dog. Until that situation, Krishna won't accept us. So Krishna, as I said earlier, is the Chora, and he is the one who knows who we are in and out. Until unless we may pretend to say, I'm a devotee, I'm doing this and that. But Krishna is sitting inside us, Baba, as the Shiva Daksha Vishnu. He knows what we are. Are we a pretender or a real devotees? He knows in and out. So until unless our desires are fully vanquished, until unless our desire says, I want to serve Krishna. Krishna is the only reservoir for me. He's the only, the Narottama Das Kirtan, the bhajan, he says, Tumar bina ki acha. Without you, there's nothing for me. You are the only resort for me. That's it. Until as we get to that stage, Krishna will accept us. And until as we got even 1% of a desire, ichha in our heart, he will not accept us. So Krishna is also, as I said earlier, he's a stealer. He's a person who steals, but he steals the right thing. He doesn't want the contaminated things. He wants the purest of the pure. So if we are pure in our heart and want to know more, want to serve Krishna, we can serve only if Krishna permits. I mean, only if our desires are pure. Then Krishna will accept us. Otherwise, there's hardly any chance of going back to Godhead. And Krishna says in the last two shlokas, there are only two things that he needs. First is fully surrender. The second thing is full devotional service. As per what Krishna says, not as per what I think is devotional service. I chant one round, that's a devotional service. No, as per what our Acharyas has told us, as per what the scripture says, as per what Purana says, as per what Upanishad says. Once we have got all the solution of this and we send it to Krishna, when we follow devotional service as prescribed in the scriptures, Krishna will take us back to Godhead. There is no doubt about this question. Whether we come back again is not possible because we have become pure here in this material world. There's no guarantee. There is no point of even thinking that when we go in the spiritual world, we have got desire to enjoy ourselves anymore because we already got so purified here in this material world that there won't be any ichha and dvesh when we go into the spiritual world. And that's why the whole shloka is all about that because of these 24 senses, 6 main sense objects, experiences that we have got with our body, we are entangled in this material world, and going out is the only solution. When we are fallen in a ditch, our question should not be, who has pushed me? Our question should be, how should I get out first? I don't want to drown here in this ditch. I want to get out. And once you get out, we'll sort out later who's pushed me. But first, I is to get out. So we are in this material world. We are in this material world suffering. We need to get out as fast as possible before it becomes too late. We don't want to go back we have already been crossing from Satyuga. We failed our exam, came back to Dwapar Yuga. We failed again there, we came to Treta Yuga. We failed again, we come to Kali Yuga. Now what else? Now you want to go in circles and circles, circles? Now it's time. We know who Krishna is. Nitya Siddha, like Srila Prabhupada has come to uplift us, Nitya Baddhas like us. It's time for us to get up and go home, back to Godhead. So I'll rest my class here. If anyone has got any questions or any feedback, please feel free. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dhanavad Pranam Babaji. Hare Krishna.
Such a wonderful explanation of the text 74 that mentions how this text really works out with every living entity. And you started with the disintegration of 24 elements, how they work on the living entity, and how we have been transmigrated from the eternal abode to this material world through the three types of souls, which are Nitya Baddha, Nitya Siddha, and Nitya Mukta, and how we have arrived here in this material world. That is simply because of the desire and our enviness towards the Lord. So, because of this, we are in this material and we are continuously suffering, as you mentioned through the texts of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, 14, and so on, to make us understand what is the right way to get ourselves from the stage of Nitya Mukta on upwards. And that is possible by Nitya Siddhas, like Srila Prabhupada. She has made this ISKCON not for other purpose. There is a purpose behind it, and which is the instruction from Krishna itself. Only through this process you can elevate yourself. So what consciousness we are doing here, just try to purifying our consciousness. As you mentioned, Krishna is the purest of the pure. So as long as we become pure, we cannot connect him. The right example you have given, the purchasing of gold. So when you look around the gold, you see the carat. Why? Because you want to buy the purest one, not the 2 carat, 9 carat, like that. So we need to understand that point so nicely. Krishna also accept those who are pure, purer, and purest. So that stages need to be elevated only by the persons who are actually Nitya Siddhas. So Nitya Siddhas means our spiritual masters. So spiritual masters, avoidance by the instruction of the spiritual master, that is Sadhu, Sangha, and Shastra, help us to purify ourselves, and we changes our condition pure, purer, and purer, and then we can connect Krishna. Otherwise, there is no hope. So that is the process. Srila Prabhupada make us very clear understanding why we are in this material world. Because of these 16 elements which binds us to be in this material world. Thank you so much for nicely explaining with the various charts, and especially the 3 stages of soul, how it transmigrates in this world, and how they are playing the role to help us to elevate ourselves from this material world to the spiritual world. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna Babaji. Dhanavad Pranam Babaji. Hare Bol.
Very nice class, Prabhu. So Krishna already said that it is material nature is very hard to come out. And until we surrender to Krishna. Now we are already living in material nature, Prabhu. It's very hard for us to overcome the Maya. We're still aspiring to be pure. So in meanwhile, what we should do so that we can become pure?
What you should do to become pure.
Yeah, because material Maya is already there. Buying a car, buying a house, buying TV, buying whatever, luxury items. But how can we improve ourselves to be getting pure, and how can we try and get out of the Maya? Very hard question, I know.
I mean, see, Prabhuji, I'll try my best to answer this. It's as you said, they are basic necessities, Prabhuji. We need to understand what the necessities are and what the desire is, right? The necessity for us is to have a car. As just a basic example, I'm taking, right? Necessity for us in this country is to have a car so that we can transport ourselves, right? But the desire is I want to have a Ferrari, right? That is to have a Ferrari, that means you have to do what? You have to do extra
Hard
endeavor.
work.
You have to do extra endeavor. You have to do extra work, and that's what Rupa Goswami says. The very in Nectar of Instruction. So we have to do extra work, and for what? You get extra money. When you get extra money, you can enjoy. Once you are enjoying, the question being asked to ourselves: Are we doing devotional service? Are we doing our sadhana bhakti, or are we doing sense gratification? So as the question says, how to become pure is to make sure that, we need to be, as Srila Prabhupada says, simple living and higher thinking. We need to have a basic thing. I mean, there are many possibilities for us to get luxurious house, 10-bedroom house, this car, that car, but that's not gonna make you closer to Krishna. It's gonna make you far to Krishna. But the best thing that you can do is what has been prescribed in the scriptures, what has been prescribed to you by your Guru Maharaj, is to do 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles nicely, surrender on to Krishna, and follow the rules and regulations, what has been prescribed to us. And so once we do that with two S's, S is sincerity, and the second one is seriousness. Once you do these two things very, very seriously as sincerity, the desire will automatically come stop. The desire will diminish, and we will become pure, as pure as gold. So it will take time because we have been entrapped in this material for a very long time. There's a lot of dust accumulated on our heart. That's why we sing the bhajan Cheto Darpan Marjanam. You have to keep on marjo. You have to keep on rubbing with the devotional service. And once we have reached a stage of that, there's not even a spotless, our glasses are spotless, then we can see Krishna face to face. Until this, we will find Krishna with all those, what we call matmela, because our glasses are not clean. So once our glasses are clean, then we can see Krishna. So that's a process being given to us. We just need to follow the process. I hope I may have answered this question properly. If not, I ask the other devotees to please help me in getting the right answer.
Very nice answer, James.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice answer. We're still trying to do whatever we try and do, by not earning too much money and trying to reduce work hours, trying to devote more time to devotional service and all these things. But still, we have long way to go.
Yes.
Thank you,
Hare,
Prabhu.
Kri-
Thank you very
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, the most important
much.
thing, as you mentioned, desire and necessity. Those two things need to be understood very carefully. Desire is one thing and necessity is the other thing. So if the necessity is superseded by desire, then there is a problem. Desire should be always there, but it should only fulfill the necessities. As you given the example, a Toyota car and a Ferrari, does the same work. So when you go for a Ferrari, naturally you have to do many uh, money to accumulate. That means you have to go hard on it. That means you are diverting your all bodily strength, mind, everything, focusing on earning money. So one side you are reaching far away from Krishna. That's what actually compels us to be away from Krishna. So we need to understand the philosophy of simple living and high thinking. And that is what Srila Prabhupada stresses on. It's very, very important. Very hard to understand, but that is the fact of life. To make us pure, purer and purest. Unless we come to the stage, there is no hope. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Okay, I think there's no one we can, if it's okay, we can end the class. There's no one.
Vancha kalpatarivyasya kripa
कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो एव च पतितानां
पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमो
नमो
नमः।
नमः।
अनंत
अनंत
कोटि
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 वैष्णव
वैष्णव
वृंद
वृंद
की
की
जय।
जय।
हिज ग्रेस चित्र कृष्ण प्रभु की
की
जय।
जय।
शिला प्रभुपाद की
प्रभुपाद
जय।
जय।
गौर प्रेमानंदे
हरि
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 हरि हरि
बोल।
बोल।
असंबल
All good
डिवोटीज हरे
Siddha
कृष्ण।
हरे
Sambandhi.
थैंक यू
कृष्णा।
प्रभु, थैंक यू।